Okay, this is the master take. Hello, I'm Ben Sherman, and you are looking at the menu screen for the game Errantry. This is a game that would be played on the Nintendo Wii and would use the Wiimote and Nunchuck for a gestural interface. So, Errantry is a game about storytelling. You play as the squire to a knight who wishes to retire. In order for him to retire, the land must know of his great deeds. So you have to go around and tell the land. Unfortunately, there are other squires who are looking to do the same thing. So, sort of like a rap battle, you have to compete with them for the attention of the court. So we're looking at this court, and you'll hear them heckling because I'm not doing anything right now. They want to hear a story. You see a courtesan, a scholar, a priest, a knight, and a monk. And on top, you see the GUI for our gestural interface. These are all the different positions you would put the Wiimote in.
I grow weary of your silence.
If you wanted to tell that type of story. Here's your score. You see interrupts and you see a scroll with 4 lines. Each time you tell a story, it is one line of poetry.
What ends do you hesitate?
That would show up right there. To win, you have to tell 16
Your
couplets.
silence plagues me.
So, I, as a player, am looking at this court, and I see a knight, and he looks a little bored. So he probably wants to hear about violence. So I'm going to get into the violent stance, which is like I'm pulling a sword from my
Silence
sheath,
is a sin of omission.
and I'm going to do that gesture at a mild intensity, and now I have to escape from a dragon's mouth, like slashing at its uvula. Whew. All right.
A flick of the blade, and the dragon was dead.
And you see now, my player has told a line of poetry about violence.
You've no vow of silence, have you?
Something to pay attention to in this game, though, is that you can't just spam violence and expect to entertain the knight. Nor can you, spam
Your silence
wisdom
betrays your ignorance.
and expect to entertain the scholar, or likewise for the priest, the courtesan, and the monk. You have different intensities that you tell them at. So, if I were to do violence at a very mild intensity, you can see the bar up there. He doesn't want to hear that. He already heard a violent story that was very intense, and so he's got to hear something else he might like, or maybe a more intense violent story. This is something that you would learn as a storyteller.
Out with it, you wretch!
So what you learn in this game is the dexterous skill of how, as a public speaker, you use your hands when you're emphasizing ideas. So like, my knight was thinking, or, he was so pious.
Sin of omission.
Also, there's a strategic game. You're juggling the attentions of a court. It's a little bit like spinning plates, so you can't just, tell violence and mercy, and entertain one guy because you'll get booed out because the other 4 people don't want to hear that. And so you're learning the skill of being a public speaker and a storyteller. And of course,
Silence betrays
there's another
your
guy
ignorance.
who's trying to do the same thing. I'm not going to go into it because there's not another player, but I can show you. I am the interactive player right now, and so if I hold down the D-pad, you can see that I have an interrupt that's called
Silence
a
is a sin
fuddle.
of omission.
I can't use it right now because he's not trying to tell a story, but if he was trying to tell a story, I could befuddle, and then maybe instead of telling a violent story, he would tell a faith story. There's other interrupts that are possible. You can see this other guy has up the ante, which would make it a more difficult minigame. And so you saw I went into the I went into the mouth of the dragon. It was medium
Your
easy
silence plagues me.
because I told about a medium to high intensity story. If I told a really intense, violent story, it'd be very, very hard to win. If I told a very mild one, it'd be very easy to win. And so to a certain degree, you're also betting against yourself.
That's your weekly battle, too.
This game is very extendable. You can mix and match all of these sort of archetypes to form any level that you want. You can add more than 5, have just 1. You can have one person that you must entertain, and you must keep everybody else above a certain threshold. And you can have all these different courts that you must go to, and so this game could really grow. That is, very quickly,
Precious, you
Errantry.
fool.
If you're interested in following development of Errantry, you can go to errantrythegame.com and download the latest version.